Hello, and before we get into tonight's epic Rantcast, I just wanted to catch you up on the final shows I'll be doing in 2023. The last three this week, I will be in Stuart, Florida on Wednesday at the Lyric Theater, followed by Thursday in St. Petersburg at the Mahaffey, Friday at the Florida Theater in Jacksonville, Florida, and that will be it. And I hope you can join me if you can. And then we will begin on January 18th in the Golden State Theater in Monterey, California, on the 19th in Santa Barbara, and on the 20th in Santa Barbara will be at the Lobrero Theater, a beautiful small theater there that's really a pleasure to play always. And we end up in Anaheim, California at the City National Grove of Anaheim. It's a theater. I promise you, it's not a bank. And or maybe the City National Grove, who knows? But that's where I'll be, and I've performed there before. And remember, we're wrapping things up. This is it, and I will be back in a moment with this week's epic Rantcast. It could all go horribly wrong at any minute. All right, that's the moment. Here I am again. And I want to welcome you to the 157th episode of Lewis Black's Rantcast, entitled Dictator for a Day. Yes, that's Dictator. That's spelled Dick. It could be spelled Tater, Tater. But it's Dick for sure. And as many of you may or may not have heard, the delightful Donald Trump, running for the presidency, has declared that he would just be a dictator for the first day that he's in office. And I cannot fucking believe people don't stand up enraged by that type of a comment. It's beyond belief because he is pushing in that direction. And I know that some things seem to be over the top in the way in which many folks out there are describing what he's got set up. I don't know. I really don't know. But I do know that you shouldn't be, if you're running for the president, talking about being the dictator for a day. It's unbelievable, unconscionable, stupid, and it's always been like dealing with a ninth grader who's got some kind of a problem. I'm tired of it, and I'm fed up, and I'm sick of them. Literally everybody kind of standing by and letting him pull this nonsense, okay? And because of their fear of whatever. It's ludicrous. You get him to grow the fuck up, all right? And I would love to hear what it is that people that have kind of seem to be enamored with him on a certain level. The things that he did. What did he do? Please tell me what he did. Okay? Just give me a summary of it. Someone write it in. If you have a friend who can explain it to me, because I do not understand what it was that in his presidency that made them go, ape for him. And, once he was done, I thought this has got to be it. He helped the rich get richer. Well, that's great. What did he do? What did he do for the the common man? All right. What did he do for them? Okay. What exactly was it that was done that was so fucking the wall? That's what he's talking about. I'm going to be dictator for a day. I want to build a wall. Come on already. We need to have some form of immigration reform and policy created by Democrats and Republicans sitting down and figuring it the fuck out. All right? And if it's a wall, it's a wall. But it's certainly a lunacy. I want to build a wall. And I want to drill. Well, it turns out that the ghost of Christmas past, Joe Biden, is basically drilled more than any other president is drilled. What? That's it. That's what he wants to do, and he does want to from everything. I mean, he's unbelievable. He's talking about shooting shoplifters. Hello, America, please. Or he's not. Look, I mean, seriously. Even if he doesn't mean it, then shut up. If he doesn't mean it, shut the fuck up. There's a whole list of shit I could read, but it's ludicrous. You've all heard it, and so is even if, and the folks who love him have heard it and seem to get a big kick out of it. Well, enough's fucking enough. All right, this is not what we're about. This is not who we are. All right, we're dumb as posts. That's for sure. We're idiots on certain levels, that's for sure. But we are not people who believe that you shoot shoplifters in the back, all right? And then there's a whole debate about how much shoplifting is being done. I certainly don't know, but they're hiding everything in the stores, all right? Why don't you do that? Why don't you figure out how to make sure that stuff is actually, that people can get it without there being a problem, other than gunning down shoplifters. I mean, come on, seriously. And that's it. He's leading like crazy in Iowa, and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens there. And I'm just about had it in terms of this. It's beyond belief to me that it doesn't really matter if he's convicted. Yes, it does. And it's tiresome and it's exhausting, and there's a reason there are 91 indictments, whether people want to believe it or fucking not. Okay? We have a justice system that continues to go and move and do the things that have to be done by civil servants, people who have sacrificed in order to work for the federal government and not to make $1 million suing because somebody got in an accident. All right? Son of a bitch. And he's the guy who got the Supreme Court, packed with these folks who ended up destroying Roe versus Wade so that the states could decide, so that the state of Texas this week, and I'm not going to stop yelling the way it looks because this week was bullshit and intolerable. A woman in Texas, you've all heard this story probably, and am I going to repeat it? Yeah, because it deserves to be repeated. Okay? They've told her that she's going to give birth to a baby that is dead, and also could fuck with her health and possibly kill her. But just if the baby was born dead, you don't bring it to term. Talk about trauma. To be every night to go to sleep knowing that what is growing inside you is going to die before it gets out. What the fuck is the matter with them in Texas? So the state, an appellate court, I guess, in Texas, the one below the Supreme Court, says, nope, you got to save the mother's life because that's what you fucking have to. This is a health issue, okay? This isn't an abortion issue. It's about the mother's health. It's why this shit is crazy. And so the attorney general there, who's been basically was involved in a number of things that they should have nailed him for, but they didn't. He takes it to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court says, nope, you can't. No, you're going to have to take that baby to term, even though your life is at risk. Where do these people get off? How do you put somebody through that? So they have to flee the state to get it done. It's really beyond my fucking comprehension. It really is. And do you make jokes about it? No, I'm not going to make a joke about it. All right? Where are the adults in Texas? Why don't, how is it even possible? That you put this person in this position, this poor Really, this poor woman is what it is, and I'm not, and that's not an adjective about her. It's just in terms of her economic level, because if she was poor, she couldn't get out of the fucking state. How good is that? How many of them are stuck there dealing with health issues? Please grow the fuck up. This country has to grow the fuck up. It's ludicrous that we live like this at this point. That every day we're being bashed by shit that you just go, all right, come on. And meanwhile, there's the Bibi Netanyahu I've never liked. Never, ever, ever. And I made a decision a long time ago. As long as he was in office, I was never going to go to Israel, and I've never been there. Okay? But I have to say, from the very beginning, I said that this was a war between him and Hamas. And that's who's basically involved with this. And it turns out, first off, we find out that it took hours upon hours upon hours for them to respond to the initial invasion. They're yelling about this, and it took them hours to respond. Is somebody fucking home? I thought from the beginning that's fucking suspicious. And then it turns out that the Israeli government under him had been giving money to Hamas in hopes that it would keep them calm. They were giving them money through Qatar, and the hope was that would make Hamas basically deal with the problems there and in Palestine. But beyond, and then figure it out. Figure out what they did with the money. Wow, it leaves you breathless. And in the world of it, I mean, he's like a baby Trump in a way. That was this. It gave him the excuse to destroy. He didn't want a two-state solution. So this allows him to wipe out the other state? Are you fucking serious? Because this sets it all up so that he could go ahead and do that so that they could continue to fill up, the villages there, I guess. I don't know, but it sure the fuck seems like it. I've never trusted him. Not once, not as far as you could throw him. And a lot of it might have to do with that he was under indictment. So we got these two schleps. Fucking unbelievable. And I don't want to hear that. Don't even write in anything about what I said because I don't want to hear about it. Okay? All right? I don't. Well, I don't care. What is happening there is a tragedy. It's epic. And it's beyond disturbing. And that we are not calling for a ceasefire is insanity. Okay? And that's all I got to say on that. All I'm doing is yelling and screaming. This is not good. Oh, yeah. And then I wake up this morning and I'm reading that the 1% in the country, the top 1% has as much money as the entire middle class of this country. The entire middle class. And that's Trump's legacy, folks. He's the one who said, boy, if we can just get them some more money, it's the whole idea of the Republicans. And boy, has that been spread around, huh? That's really working out. The same amount of money. Come on, how do you run an economy like that? How do you allow it? How do you not see that and go, this is wrong? But the problem is those people out there, who aren't working and there's, trying to suck the system dry. Who's sucking the system dry? How deaf, dumb, and blind are we? Okay? Well, we don't have we got the money, and it's in the hands of the 1%. And you don't, and you have to at some point recognize that, especially when they have the same amount of money as the entire middle class. Okay? Here's the problem. Okay? It's like this. All right? There it is. It's on a seesaw, and the 1% is sitting down there. I mean, it really is even, but my God, it is It really, in many ways, since they have as much as the middle class, it's like that. And it's just a matter of them not. It's when they start jumping up and down and like that, and the middle class will be thrown into God knows, into the sandbox or wherever. I'm losing it now. I am losing it. It was a stunning piece of news. And then, of course, people, well, that's not really, yeah, it is true. Okay. Or at least it was this morning until they tell me something else. And and then just in terms of bullshit, but going along with everything else, the college football championship has one of the schools that should have gotten in was Florida State. One of the schools that Alabama, which is will have more eyeballs and everything, and it's probably better than Florida State in many ways, gets in, but they lost the game. Florida State came through the ACC where I went to school, okay, and came through it without losing a game. And their quarterback was hurt, and they won that game with a third string quarterback, for crying out loud. And it appears that they would get back their quarterback by the time the championship was being played. For God's sake, okay? Does it not amount to anything? First time that ever happened. It's really, I just think it was profoundly, and it's not because I was from the ACC. And I don't even like Florida State. Right? I've never rooted for Florida State. And I actually have a soft spot, though, for Florida State because we did a pilot for Comedy Central that got kiboshed because why? I didn't yell enough. But we were down there for a football weekend, and those folks deserve it. They are dedicated to that team and to and they're fans on a level that is mildly psychotic, for sure. And they certainly know how to have a tailgate party. And for that alone, they should have allowed them to play for the championship. Unbelievable. Give it to Alabama. Huh? That's good for the kids in that program. That's really great for them. Yeah, you bust your hump and we'll fuck you. We have really, we we give trophies out to everybody who played the game. And when it comes to really, we're going to finally do this for real. And you go, well, fuck you. You should have had your second string quarterback in there. Would have made a difference. They won. God. And we're all losing. Except that Christmas is coming. And before I go, I'm going to read you a few things and wish you all a happy, merry, and all that jazz. Just a few things here. This is a Kentucky man's brand new inflatable Father Christmas was gunned down in an apparent drive-by shooting. Who shoots a fucking inflatable Father Christmas? Who does that? I mean, that's one angry fuck. Security footage shows the car swinging in front of Donald Nelson's home, the sound of a gunshot ringing out, and his $200 Santa sagging onto the lawn. He paid $200 for an inflatable Santa. Ooh. An 18-inch bullet hole in his chest. Nelson said he doesn't know who'd hurt his Santa. It's an inflatable Santa. And now fears for neighbors with inflatables. I mean, they could be targeted as well. They certainly could. I don't know how many inflatables are in that neighborhood, but who shoots a? Even I, who get truly irritated at Christmas time, for a lot of reasons, mainly because you can't get around Midtown in part because Rockefeller Center is awash with people who want to see a tree, a Christmas tree, a big fucking tree that they came miles and miles to see a tree, and they live amongst trees. I've said this time, I say it every year. That tree should be somewhere where we New Yorkers can go see the tree in peace and quiet, not at Rockefeller Center, please. And finally, and completely opposite to the way I began this, our candidate for the president, there's someone who ran in Rainier, Washington for the city council, and he decided not to vote, not to cast a ballot in the election. Didn't cast a ballot and lost to his opponent by a single vote because he didn't vote. I didn't feel comfortable voting for myself, said Damian Green. I thought it was kind of narcissistic, so I didn't. So that he must be a Democrat. Only a Democrat would decide in a very tight election not to vote for himself so the other person could win. Or maybe it's a Republican, whoever it is. Thank you for not being a narcissist, but I'm sorry, you're stupid. There's no narcissism. If you ran for the office, you got to believe you could do it. And that's what we got from here. We've got some really fine rants coming your way this week. And I want to thank everybody who keeps writing them in. I'm thinking of trying to do, when I return to the final run on the road, kind of doing one each night. And we'll see if that happens. I think it may be possible. And I want to thank you all for continuing to watch the Rantcast. I'm sorry I didn't have a funnier bits about any of this, but I don't. I'm fed up and I'm tired of it, and so I got it off my chest, and it's not, and it wasn't like hidden anger about anything else. It was just I am sick and tired of being sick and tired of watching enough is enough is enough. Okay, we deserve better than this. We really do. We really do. Human beings deserve a lot more across the board. Please, let's let the adults kind of enter the room, and let's move on with things, and try to remember what Christmas is all about. Okay, because it's got its own upside, and I hope you've been having a happy Chinooka. It ends tomorrow when this after the Rantcast, I believe, and enjoy it. I hope it's been good for all of you. Okay, sending you all the best. Take care of each other. It's what counts. This rant comes to us from Stacey Van Branken. Hey, Lewis. I have rewritten this rant a few times since there are way too many things to complain about around here and in the news. But I will just rant that I'm so sick of people talking about Joe Biden being too old to run. Fuck that. He has the wise old man syndrome that is needed to run the country because he doesn't just say the first stupid thing that comes to the front of his mind, and he has the ability to understand other people's feelings, unlike the orange would-be dictator. If he says something wrong, he will apologize and take it back or admit it, which is what a real man does, a strong man does, something no one ever taught or ever made sure 45 ever learned, and he certainly never taught his kids. I'm ashamed of the news in this country. The mainstream news seems to be stuck in a rut as to what to do as regards reporting on the race for the president. I say there is still a whole year, and watch and see if Trump ends up in jail or gets someone killed, and see what else Biden can get done before Election Day. I don't want to deal with election shit for another year. But if it means we can peel a few more hundred zombified supporters away from him, I guess we should continue to follow him. Anyway, stay healthy and see you tonight. I don't know what night that was, but I hope it was a good show. Thank you, Stacey. And I've already heard from people saying that actually, that Donald Trump is healthier. It's like unbelievable. Who knows? God. But they don't like him, Stace. They're not happy, if I may call you Stace. But thank you. Thank you for getting that out there, and I'm glad you were able to share it. Angel from Troy is sharing this with us. So many things to rant about. Jacked up sidewalks, freaking co-workers, motherfucking DoorDash. The two words that can send me into a blind rage. But the one thing that has become a bane to my existence, housing. Not just affordable housing. even though everyone should be able to make a house or rent payment and still have something left over to buy bread. I'm talking about the simple right of everyone to have a roof over their head, and it's become everyone's problem. I work for a nonprofit that does vision rehab. Our goal is to keep people independent in their own home, but they have to have a home. And now we have to focus on finding one. There are none anywhere. I want to make it clear that blind housing is not a thing. If you think it is, you've watched too many episodes of Little House on the fucking Prairie. I'm not an aggressive person, but I want to tell city officials, county officials, and state officials, fix it. You know how annoying it is to walk through the capital region and see building after building after building marked with a condemn sign? Fix it. I don't care what district you cover. I don't care who you have to talk to. And I sure as fuck don't care what your political affiliation is. Fix it. I used to work for the state senate, forced to sit through sessions where they discussed what the dimensions of a water reservoir should be, how many cows determine a farm, and my favorite, the proclamations. Today is officially Bowlers Over 55 Day. Put that shit on the website and move on. Whether you're an 80-year-old blind man in a wheelchair or a woman who moved to the U.S. and lost the house she made payments on for 30 years, or a family with 3 kids until 10. You have the right to sleep under a roof. Just fix it. Thank you, Angel. That's true and true and true and true. And it should be a portion of what they spend the time doing now, because it's an urgent problem every fucking where I go. It's unbelievable. I'll say it again and again. How do you come out of a pandemic and you're worse off? It's astonishing. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to get that off to me. And at Troy, once again, I'll say, great theater. Great theater. Great audience. And you were there. Thank you. An important piece of mind coming to us from Susan Googans. So the media bashes teachers, the public bashes teachers, and surprise, no one goes into teaching anymore. I can't take a sick day because there is no substitute to cover my class. My co-teacher's mother passed away, and I had to teach both of our classes together by myself because no one wants to be a teacher. Why would we? Across the nation, they are underpaid, yep, undervalued, yep, and underappreciated. I have a master's degree and beyond, and yet I am questioned every day about what I do and how I do it. Teachers are micromanaged by those who know little to nothing about education. Help! I get it, Susan. I get it. It's kind of drifted downhill since I was a kid. The respect for the profession, the financing of the profession, the complete misunderstanding by people of what is needed to make a profession that is attractive to people, and one is to keep these idiots who've just discovered that there's a PTA and they can put in their 2 cents. And now we've got 12 million kind of behavioral problems, each of them that, can move you up in terms of the amount of attention your child gets. Are you shitting me? Wow. I'm amazed people still want to do it. And thank you, Susan. As they say, thank you for your service. Huh? For a teacher, we have to say that now. Well, stop it. I'm not kidding. I had the kid. Shut up, Lewis. You said it, Susan, and you said it well. Thanks. And this comes from her husband, David Googans. If 2 of the latest diatribes by Marjorie Taylor Greene don't scream for the renewal of social studies / civics being taught in the school, I don't know what does. The idea that a member of Congress doesn't understand where the FBI is or is not housed is sad. But not being aware of how a bill becomes a law is terrifying. Yep, it is, David, but certainly in her district, nobody seems to give a shit, do they? And we do have to teach civics again, across the boards, everywhere. I don't know. I don't know how that slips out of the curriculum. And then you wonder, gee, I wonder why people are trying to overthrow the government. Well, because they don't know what the fucking government is. All right? And it'll scare the kids. We don't want them to have to memorize shit. Fuck this. God damn it. It's just tiring. And I'm swearing too much. I am swearing too much. Thanks, David. Tom Stroh, I want to thank you for sharing this with us. I think you folks will enjoy this. I'm sick and fucking tired of commercials. I know, war sucks too. What other uber original gripes do I have to drop on you? But I don't know if it's a function of my aging or if the world is just getting shittier and shittier with the entropic spiral of time. It's a perfect shitstorm of volume, pandering, and this obsession with finding the most annoyingly irritating noises, personalities, and songs. Let's start with the volume. This is where networks and their masters, the advertisers, are clearly in collusion. If I recall correctly, there's a limit to how loud an advert can be. Thusly, the marketing fuckheads circumvent this limitation by keeping the volume of programming at a certain level, let's say 8, and then having the commercials come on at fucking 11. I mean, for their purposes, it makes sense. They know you're probably going to run and take a leak or go grab something from the fridge, so they want you to hear their cloying shit so that it embeds in your brain. And the next time you're standing at the supermarket aisle or choosing an insurance provider with your brain, which has been expertly washed by their machinations, will focus on their product. This is pure fuck evil. It's manipulation. It's violation. It's ear rape. And the fact that we're not skewering these fucks is infuriating. The fact that we passively accept so much violation from these greedy fucks who think they run our society is infuriating. So why does this surprise me? I like to watch reruns of The Office or the occasional sporting event. I like to have them on in the background while my wife and I sit and enjoy our evening, sip a cup of coffee or tea, peruse our news feeds, etc. So we keep the volume at a level that allows us to hear dialogue, etc. Oh, wait, it's hard to hear. We turn it up to a reasonable level. Then cut to the commercial. Whopper, 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 suck my ass and buy a whopper. I will drill this off-key jingle into your brain at BK. Have it your way. You suck. I was going to sing it, but I don't want to ruin everything. It's already horrifying. And every jingle, every song is seemingly engineered to be as annoying as fuck. It's like every contemporary tune has harnessed the spirit of Little John screaming, "Yeah, okay!" I know that's how dated my references are, possibly supporting the notion that I'm too old, and I'm just shaking my fist at the whippersnappers trampling my lawn. Fuck you. They're not trampling your lawn, they're trampling your brain. Okay, there's a big difference, and it's got nothing to do with age. That's a fact. And the characters. I want to watch the Wendy's people and the Progressive Insurance people get eaten by lions, while the Cologuard shit in the box people are disemboweled to the tune of My Way. So I clamor for the remote to lower the volume or mute. Invariably, the program comes back on, and I can't hear shit. So I raise the volume, and the cycle continues. But I have a theory. Now stay with me here. This is how people like Donald fucking Trump get elected. This is why our country is a steaming pile of shit. This is why we accept scumlickers like Marjorie Taylor Greene and Mitch McConnell. This is why we don't guillotine our masters, because our healthcare system is a steaming pile of for-profit smegma. Wow, I'd never heard smegma in a use as a critical. It's criticism of the healthcare system. We're being beaten orally into a submissive ectoplasm of passive goo. We are taking this shit as normal. This is just one of the myriad signposts pointing to the fact that we, as a culture, are fucked. Thank you, Tom. That was fun to read. I hope it was fun for you. Hope it was fun for the rest of you out there. And for those of you who have trouble with the references from time to time to Republicans, then write back your references to Democrats and don't them whine online about the fact that there doesn't seem to be how come you doing this? How come you doing that? Because there's nothing here for me to read for you. All right. And since you're not having me read it, don't whine about it. Don't listen to this. Okay. Because they're the people who are sending it in because they're pissed. And if you're pissed, send yours in and don't whine to me about it. I'm sick of it. Okay. All right. I'm whining. Thanks to all of you for listening to my Rantcast. If you have a rant you want to get off your chest, send it in to me at lewisblack.com/live. You can think of it as therapy or whatever you want to think of it as. Just let it rip. And I want to thank the true stars of our show, the ranters, and the splendid rants they gave us. Lewis Black's Rantcast was created and hosted by me. Lewis Black. Our live rant audio was produced by James Salter. Our theme song by Chris Lane. Executive producer, Ben Brewer. Executive producers, Matt Kleinschmidt and Robert Kelly.